What's going on, everybody? This is Orion Moquin, and this is your market update for what happened in Strafford and Rockingham County, New Hampshire in March of 2023. So let's jump right in. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the statewide data, then we're going to look at Strafford and Rockingham County. I'm going to give a little bit extra context, talk about the things that I saw on the ground, and then give you a few action items, whether you're thinking of buying or selling, just some things that you can do to take advantage of what the situation currently is. So let's get started. So looking at March, right? So we have to look at last month's data because that's the last time we have a complete picture of what happened, right? So just kind of at the statewide level, we're down 13.2% in closed units. We're up 1.1% for single family in terms of closed price. And we're down 12.2% in total volume, meaning the total sales price of all those properties added up. So let's take a look down a little bit. All right, so closed units right here. You can see this is from March of 2022, just for that month versus 23. Then you can see year to date right here. So year to date, we're actually down 19.7%. So when you look and you see there's many communities where there's maybe one home for sale, that's kind of as a result of what we're looking at here. There's very, very few homes on the market, and it's just an extension of what we saw last year. Looking at sales price, median sales price. Again, this is March of 22 versus March of 23. You can see 1.1% increase. Year to date, we're up 3.6% from where we were last year, right? And then volume wise, just look at year to date here, we're down 16.6%, which is pretty in line with the decline in closed sales. So then I'm going to go down. This is the number I always love to hit on. Let's find it here. Affordability. There it is. So the affordability index, to recap, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, I love using this metric because I think it paints a really good picture of what it's like to be a normal person looking to buy a home, right? So the affordability index, what does it mean? If it was 100, for example, that means a median household income for New Hampshire would be enough to buy a median priced home. You would qualify for the mortgage for it. If it's below, that means a median household income does not qualify you for the mortgage on the median priced home. And the lower it is, the worse it is, the higher it is, you get it. For March of this year, it was 70, which is very close to the all-time low, which we hit in October of last year of 68. That's for single family. For condos, it was 87. So it's a little bit better, but if you look at our 12-month average right here, it's not an easy time by any means. Affordability is as close to the all-time low as we're going to get, right? This is due to kind of two factors on top of each other. Number one is prices are still up, and number two is mortgage rates. There was a really historic spike middle of last year. Most people know about it. We saw it dip a little bit in the beginning of this year, and we'll talk more about what the mortgage rate should hopefully be doing, knock on wood, as time goes on this year. But just know that this is where we're at for the affordability index. It's very tough out there. So let's go from the statewide data to Strafford County, right? So you'll see two kind of sets of data right here. This one right here where it says March, everything below this is comparing March of 2022 to March of 2023. You see right here, year to date, that's January, February, and March of both of these years, and comparing that total value, right? So looking at, and I think the year to date kind of paints a more accurate picture, because when there's just such a small number of homes to look at, it makes the data get a little bit skewed if there's any outliers. So I'm just going to focus on year to date here. We're down 30% in closed sales, which is huge. A third fewer homes being sold, only 165 so far in Strafford County this year. And that, again, the exaggerated low inventory situation we find ourselves in, just kind of proof positive of it right there. Looking at median sales price, we're up 6.8%. We're at $398,000. Median list price, we're up 5.4. Volume of closed sales down 27.2, which is right in line with the total number of closed sales, right? Days on market, we did tick up 5. I don't know if this is because of an outlier or there's a few different reasons it could be. In the beginning of this year, we did see some homes sit for a little bit longer, but I'll get into my anecdotal thoughts on that, but I don't think that's a trend we're going to see exaggerate too much more. Pending sales are down. new listings right here down 22%. And then we see right here, percentage of original list price received. It's down 3.5%, but our median sales price is still up 6.8%. And I'm going to put a pin in this. I'm going to talk about this when I add kind of my thoughts, but this is an important thing to look at if you're thinking about selling, right? Going to Rockingham County, 19.1% down in closed units for the year so far. But if you look, median sales price has held steady, right? Really hasn't changed. List price has gone up 12.1%. Volume of closed sales down 17%. Days on market, we actually lost 1 day, so 35 days now. Pending sales down 13%. New listings down 16%. And then the similar trend we were seeing, 97.7%, so down 4% in terms of percentage of original list price received on average. So let's add some context to this, right? Because I can read the data to you all day long, but what does it actually mean for you? So if you're thinking of buying, here's what we've been seeing. Absolute madhouses at open houses, very reminiscent to last year, if it's anything even moderately desirable. A lot of properties pretty much selling immediately within the first week. So if you are a buyer, here's the number one thing you need to do right now. You need to speak, or let me add to that a little bit. If you're a buyer, you're thinking about buying in the next 6 months, right? The first thing you really need to do is talk to a lender who will sit down with you, explore the options, and show you the different ways that you can make things more affordable. Because it's not just a cookie cutter system. It's not one size fits all. There's different things you can do, like buy downs, like paying some points, that sort of thing, to make this process more affordable. Or you could take, let's say, a higher rate in the short term in exchange for a lender credit and then paying for some of your closing costs. If you go to just a big box lender, you're not going to have that experience. So talk to somebody local. That's my best recommendation for a buyer right now. Go through that process, really have a sit down conversation with them, either in person or Zoom if you can. That'll make a huge difference. For sellers right now, or if you're thinking about selling your home and thinking about moving, it's a very interesting circumstance that we have yet again, because there's such limited inventory that if your home is even moderately close to something that would be desirable, it's going to sell very quickly. But if you look, let's go on Strafford County specifically here. If you look at the difference between the list price, right, percentage of original list price received, there's a little bit of a gap there. And that's where it becomes very important to have an agent that's going to drum up as much activity with their marketing on your home as humanly possible. You want every buyer to see each other at the same time as soon as your home is listed at open houses, preferably multiple, maybe 2 or 3 back to back. That way there's an additional sense of urgency added, because people are still out there, people are still looking, and people are still buying. Looking at the national headlines really is never a good idea, because if I was sitting here doing this video in Austin, Texas, for example, it'd be a very different tune we'd be singing right now, or San Francisco, California, something like that. But in Seacoast, New Hampshire, things are still a fever pitch at this point. The difference from this time last year is there's just so many fewer homes for sale. And anybody who's looked in the past couple of years will tell you there hasn't been much available to begin with. So now we're just seeing that situation exaggerated even more. So that's what's going on in the local market at this point. If you have questions about this information, if you're looking to buy or sell, you want to know what your next steps are or what makes sense just for planning for the future, please reach out to me. I'd be very happy to answer any questions about that. If you have any comments or critiques about how I've presented this information here today, please leave them in the comments. I want to make sure this is as valuable as humanly possible for everybody. And I will see you on the next one. Talk to you guys soon.